Have you ever thought that other people only look for you when they're drowning in their problems? When people we care about in love and friendship turn us into safe havens for their own needs. And when someone doesn't return your sincere love, it weighs on our hearts. Your self-worth and trust in yourself may fade away, sinking into pain. These are truly bitter experiences. It could be the friend who always wants something but is never ready to give it back. Or it could be the person who comes to you with all their worries, expecting you to help them. If someone always helps you but disappears when you need them the most. Or if you feel like they care about you because of what you can do for them instead of who you are, that's a sign of an exploitative relationship. We all deserve to be loved and appreciated. And it's heartbreaking to find out that the people we trust and love see us only as a way to reach their own goals. This hurt not only lowers our self-esteem but also makes us lose faith in love. In this video we want to shine a light of confidence and self-respect on helping you recognize and deal with these problems with wisdom and peace. Let's look at 10 Stoic philosophical ways to tell if you're being exploited and how to protect yourself not just for your own good, but also for the purity of your soul. Before we start, I challenge you to watch the whole video and not skip any of the methods, because even one of them can help you stay safe from toxic relationships. Are you ready for this test? Let me know in the comments. I'm ready. Now, let's move on to the first message. Method number 1, breach of promises. Marcus Aurelius, a famous philosopher, said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This wisdom has stood the test of time, emphasizing how important it is to keep promises as a reflection of character and integrity. When someone breaks a promise, they not only damage trust, but also show disrespect toward others. Broken promises cause emotional pain and weaken relationships. This becomes even more obvious when opportunistic individuals repeatedly break promises by prioritizing others or other things over you. In these moments, you are not treated as someone important, but as someone who can be manipulated and who will tolerate disappointment without protest. If this behavior repeats again and again, and they show no concern for how their actions affect your feelings, it reveals selfishness and lack of respect. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught that we should not allow other people's actions to control our emotional state. This does not mean we should ignore betrayal. Rather, it means we should become stronger through it. When someone betrays our trust, we face two possible responses. Life will always contain problems, big or small. These difficulties may throw us off course and make us feel defeated. But often, what truly defines us is not the problem itself, but how we respond to it. In this lesson, we explore how determination can transform our lives and help us overcome even the hardest obstacles. Mindset plays a crucial role. The way we interpret challenges strongly influences how effectively we solve them. Adopting a growth mindset, one that sees failure as an opportunity to learn, can dramatically increase resilience. Failure is an unavoidable part of the path toward success. Rather than fearing it, we should treat it as an opportunity for improvement. Every failure teaches us something valuable that helps us move forward. Success rarely happens overnight. It is the result of persistent effort and determination. By continuing to move forward despite setbacks, we gradually approach our goals. Seeking support is also important. No one should face life's challenges alone. Family, friends, mentors, and colleagues can provide guidance and encouragement during difficult times. Building a strong support network can make an enormous difference when facing adversity. Hardship often leads to growth. Every difficult experience has the potential to make us stronger, wiser, and more adaptable. By viewing challenges as opportunities for learning, we develop resilience that serves us throughout our lives. After difficult experiences, it is normal to feel stress and discouragement. Method number 2, not caring about your feelings or needs. When someone ignores your feelings or needs, it is more than simple neglect. It becomes a deep emotional wound that signals a lack of respect and care. The question becomes, how can we recognize and overcome this wall of indifference? First, ask yourself whether this lack of concern is a recurring pattern. This reflection helps you identify the problem clearly and allows you to protect yourself intentionally. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If something outside of you is bothering you, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it, and you have the power to change that judgment." When you understand this principle, you gain the ability to step back and reassess your self-worth. Next, practice accepting that not everyone will meet your emotional needs. This does not mean tolerating unfair treatment. Rather, it means refusing to allow such behavior to define your value. Finally, focus on building connections with people who genuinely respect and support you. Doing so not only protects you from negativity, but also surrounds you with positive energy that encourages personal growth. Stoic philosophy teaches us not only how to recognize exploitation, but also how to redefine our values and life goals. In this way, we stop being passive victims of circumstances and become active creators of our own lives. Method number 3, diminishing comments. Imagine you are excited about sharing an idea you care deeply about. Someone responds by saying something like, "That's just your opinion." Or, "It seems like you haven't really understood the issue." What feeling arises in you at that moment? When our ideas and passions are dismissed, it hurts deeply. Such responses not only diminish the effort we invested in our thoughts, but also destroy the opportunity for meaningful dialogue. Stoic philosophy reminds us that before reacting, we should pause and ask ourselves, will my response contribute positively to this conversation? Will it strengthen or weaken the relationship? Stoicism teaches us that our true worth does not depend on the opinions of others. Sometimes the wisest response is silence. When faced with dismissive criticism, silence becomes an opportunity to practice patience and tolerance, virtues highly valued in Stoic philosophy. Ask yourself, how can I respond constructively? What lesson can I learn from this situation? By asking these questions, we cultivate patience, self-awareness, and mutual respect. We all want real support, a guiding light through the darkest times. When faith is hurt by the lack of real support, we feel like we're standing in a desert, our souls thirsting for a drop of familial warmth. Next, we will explore this pain through the light of Stoic philosophy, helping to identify signs of being exploited through the lack of genuine support and providing us with the strength to overcome and protect ourselves. Comments or phrases that put down or make fun of someone's thoughts, ideas, or accomplishments are called diminishing comments. They can be overt or covert, but they can have a big effect, lowering motivation and confidence. These statements can be rude, sarcastic, or mean-spirited, such as when someone brushes you off or dismisses your ideas. To communicate better and avoid misunderstandings, clarity is important. Make sure your message is easy to understand and avoid making things overly complicated. Engagement is also essential. Use interactive elements or stories to keep your audience interested and connected. Relevance matters as well. Make sure your message aligns with your audience's needs and interests. Feedback is another key element. Ask for feedback to understand how well your message is being received and adjust when necessary. Continuous improvement is important. based on comments and experience. Continue improving your communication skills so your ideas can be expressed clearly and effectively. Method number 4. Not enough real help. When real support isn't there, we not only feel alone in our problems, but we also begin to question our worth and our place in the relationship. This can make us wonder whether we should remain in a relationship where our needs and value are not truly recognized. One story that shows the importance of support is the relationship between Seneca and Lucilius. Seneca advised Lucilius to choose friends wisely and emphasized that a true friend stands beside you in both good times and difficult ones. He wrote that the greatest test of friendship is not simply helping your friends when they are in trouble, but also being willing to allow them to help you when you are in need. This type of support goes beyond material help. It means standing beside someone during both joyful and painful moments. So ask yourself, how do you feel in your relationship? Do you feel valued and cared for not only through words, but also through actions? Looking seriously at relationships reminds us how important it is to remain loyal even when things become difficult. True friendship and loyalty are not only about receiving something, they are also about giving something. To truly support someone, you must sometimes be willing to tell them the truth, hoping that honesty will help them grow in the long run. As Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In relationships, real support reveals itself through actions, not just words. Real support requires deeper engagement, understanding the root of problems instead of only addressing surface issues. It also involves thinking about the real impact of help rather than simply the intention behind it. Sustainable support requires long-term commitment and a willingness to address the root causes of problems. Empowerment also plays an important role. Helping others should involve giving them the tools to support themselves rather than making them dependent. The problem of insufficient or superficial help appears in many areas, from personal relationships to larger social issues. Often people provide temporary assistance without addressing deeper causes, which can create cycles of dependence and stagnation. Method number 5. Betrayal. When someone betrays our trust, it feels like an invisible wall suddenly appears between us and them. When that trust breaks, the damage can deeply weaken the relationship. Betrayal can take many forms: dishonesty in communication, lack of emotional loyalty, and sometimes infidelity. But how do we recognize betrayal? First, observe whether the person remains open and honest in their communication. Even small lies can be warning signs. Second, emotional loyalty is expressed not only through words but through actions. Ask yourself whether you still feel valued and loved. Third, infidelity is often the clearest and most painful sign of betrayal. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we cannot control what happens externally, but we can control our reactions to it. When betrayal occurs, open communication and clear boundaries become essential. At the same time, protecting your mental health is crucial because inner peace is the most valuable thing you possess. R.S. Seneca said, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about them." This wisdom encourages us to view betrayal not only as pain, but also as an opportunity for learning and growth. Have you ever experienced betrayal? If so, how did you respond? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Betrayal is a complex and deeply emotional experience involving broken trust and loyalty. It can cause feelings of anger, sadness, confusion, and disappointment. This experience often damages self-esteem and makes it difficult to trust others again. People betray others for many reasons: personal gain, fear, resentment, or conflicting interests. Understanding these motivations can help us navigate complicated social situations. Rebuilding trust after betrayal is extremely difficult. It requires honesty, accountability, sincere effort to change, and a willingness to forgive. In some cases, rebuilding trust may not be possible, yet betrayal can also become a powerful lesson. By facing betrayal with honesty and courage, people often develop stronger boundaries, greater wisdom, and deeper emotional strength. Method number 6, making you feel guilty. In the complex maze of modern relationships, we often encounter situations where kind words hide unclear or manipulative intentions. Sometimes it feels as though we are trapped in a subtle game where our conscience and freedom are controlled through guilt. Stoic philosophy teaches us to distinguish between true responsibility and manipulated guilt. When someone deliberately makes you feel guilty, they may be attempting to control your decisions or use you for their own benefit. The consequences go beyond temporary discomfort. Over time, guilt manipulation can erode confidence and distort your perception of your own worth. Stoicism encourages us to examine our feelings carefully and ask ourselves an important question. Is this truly my choice, or am I being driven by guilt? For example, imagine someone asks you to do something you do not want to do. When you hesitate, they make you feel guilty for saying no. Pause for a moment and reflect. Are you acting out of genuine care for the relationship, or are you responding out of guilt? Stoicism encourages self-respect and independence. It reminds us to create relationships where people can express their needs and emotions openly without fear of judgment. By doing so, we protect ourselves from exploitation and help relationships grow through mutual respect and understanding. So how do you feel after hearing these ideas? Have you ever been in a relationship where guilt was used to control you? Making someone feel bad can lead to many different problems, from strained relationships to mental health issues. To have healthy relationships and interact positively with others, you need to know how to avoid making them feel bad. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and think about how what you say or do could affect them. When you have empathy, you can predict how someone might respond badly and change how you act to fit that. Mindfulness when you talk to other people is important. Pay attention to what you say and how you say it. Do not say things that are hurtful or insensitive. Instead, use language that is kind and polite. Active listening means paying attention to how the other person feels and what they have to say during a conversation. Do not interrupt them or ignore their feelings. Support their experiences by listening to them and recognizing their point of view. When giving feedback or criticism, it is better to focus on specific behaviors or actions rather than attacking the person's character. Help them improve by presenting ideas in a way that does not sound critical. Say sorry and learn from your mistakes. If you hurt someone by accident, admit it and apologize sincerely. Use the experience as an opportunity to learn, reflect on yourself, and try not to make the same mistake again. Number 7, unilateral conversations. If you have a friend named John, he is always there to listen and be a safe place for your worries and thoughts. But one day, when you need someone to talk to about your problems, you discover an uncomfortable truth. Whenever you begin to talk about your life, John always seems to bring the conversation back to himself. It is as if only his story matters in his world. Epictetus once said that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more than we speak. In John's case, this reminds us how important it is to listen, not only to respond, but to understand and share. If someone constantly talks without caring about the other person, it may be a sign that they see you only as a means to their own ends. If this happens to you, do not react immediately. Instead, calmly discuss the issue and set new boundaries within the relationship. Remember that self-mastery and kindness are essential principles in Stoicism. Now we want to hear from you. Have you ever had a friend like John or experienced a similar situation? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments. By doing so, we can learn from each other and find empathy and strength to face similar challenges in life. Number 8. Only one side benefits. Life offers many paths, and we all hope to find balance and fairness in our relationships. Have you ever listened to your inner voice and wondered whether you were trapped in a one-sided relationship? These are situations where you continue to give and give without receiving anything in return. One person takes advantage while the other continues sacrificing. One-sided gain is defined by imbalance. Often this situation develops through ignorance, fear, or even greed from the person who benefits. One side always gives while the other always receives. Over time, this pattern leaves one person exhausted while the other remains unsatisfied. Recognizing this imbalance is not easy, but it is the first step toward solving the problem. Pay attention to your emotions. Do you feel drained, as if you are investing energy in a relationship that gives nothing back? When you recognize this, remember that autonomy and self-respect are essential principles in Stoic philosophy. This means learning to say no and establishing boundaries. Ultimately, one-sided relationships can lead to conflict, feelings of helplessness, and loss of trust. However, Stoicism teaches us that every difficulty is an opportunity for learning and growth. By confronting and discussing the issue openly, you protect yourself and create space for healthier relationships built on balance and mutual respect. Fairness plays a crucial role in human interactions. When one side benefits significantly more than the other, imbalance appears, leading to resentment and mistrust. Short-term gain for one side may seem beneficial, but in the long run it leads to instability and conflict. From an ethical perspective, fairness means sharing both benefits and responsibilities. Exploiting others for personal gain violates this principle and harms society as a whole. Building a foundation of equity is essential for creating lasting communities and relationships. Everyone should have the opportunity to contribute and benefit fairly. Number 9. Absence is very important. Nothing proves the value of a strong friendship more than being present during difficult times. Seneca once said that the absence of a friend or loved one can speak louder than words. This becomes especially clear during life's most challenging moments. Imagine facing one of life's hardest experiences, the loss of a loved one, a serious illness, or the failure of a business, and discovering that the people you trusted are nowhere to be found. They may say they are busy or unsure how to help, but their absence leaves a mark that cannot be ignored. At that moment, you may begin to wonder whether the relationship truly meant as much to them as you believed. Stoicism teaches us to accept what cannot be changed and to strengthen ourselves through self-discipline. When someone is absent during difficult times, we are encouraged to reflect on the value of that relationship and develop our own inner strength. This does not mean cutting off communication completely. Rather, it means recognizing that inner independence is not loneliness but strength. When this happens, ask yourself, can I find peace and strength within myself without depending on external support? Which relationships truly add value to my life? Through honest reflection, we learn not only how to handle challenges independently, but also how to reshape our social circle based on mutual understanding and respect. Have you experienced a situation where someone's absence changed how you saw a relationship? Share your story in the comments below. We often seek balance in relationships as a way of reciprocating what we have given. But sometimes we reach the edge of injustice where love and care seem to have no place to return. Facing a lack of reciprocity becomes not only a lesson in patience, but also a journey toward inner freedom and personal happiness. Absence, often overlooked or undervalued, can reveal the true nature of a relationship. In many areas of life, it's not just empty space when something is missing. Whether it's in a friendship, a story, or a recipe, absence can create emotion, build tension, and make us value things more. Understanding its importance helps us appreciate presence even more. Absence makes us value the presence of something or someone. Just like the space between musical notes makes the sound more beautiful, what is missing can make what remains more meaningful. When people do not have access to certain experiences or tools, they are often forced to innovate, adapt, or find new solutions. Limitations can lead to creativity, and being without something can stimulate growth. Absence creates space for thinking and reflection. It gives us an opportunity to pause, evaluate, and gain clarity. It may be a break from routine, a pause in conversation, or a moment of solitude. Absence can intensify desire and longing. In relationships, for example, being away from someone you love can strengthen the emotional bond and make reunions more meaningful. Similarly, in storytelling, leaving certain details unresolved can captivate readers and encourage deeper engagement. Sometimes, when certain elements are missing, our true selves become clearer. Absence can make us more aware of our strengths, beliefs, and unique qualities, encouraging us to accept and appreciate what makes us different. To sum up, absence is more than simply the lack of something. It is a dynamic force that influences how we feel, relate to others, and understand the world. When we recognize its value, we can use its power to enrich our lives and deepen our understanding of life. Number 10, not giving and receiving. In the complex dance of relationships, understanding the balance between giving and receiving is essential. However, it is equally important to recognize when not to give or receive. This delicate balance relates to emotional boundaries, which are necessary for maintaining healthy relationships and protecting our well-being. Not giving or receiving excessively is not selfishness. It is a form of self-protection. It involves recognizing when giving too much drains your emotional energy or when receiving without giving back undermines your self-worth. By setting boundaries, you ensure that your needs are acknowledged and respected. Clear boundaries empower both people in a relationship. When you communicate your limits openly, others can understand and respect them. This clarity encourages balanced interactions where giving and receiving happen in fair proportion, fostering harmony and equality. Choosing not to give or receive in certain situations also respects personal autonomy. It acknowledges each person's freedom to decide what they are willing to offer and accept according to their values and emotional capacity. Respecting boundaries demonstrates appreciation for each other's independence and strengthens trust. Learning when not to give or receive requires prioritizing emotional health. It means recognizing when a relationship or situation is emotionally draining and having the courage to say no without guilt. Maintaining balance between giving and receiving is crucial for sustainable relationships. When both partners remain aware of each other's needs, they create an environment where everyone contributes and benefits. This balance promotes mutual growth and support, forming a strong foundation for meaningful long-term connections. The art of not giving and receiving ultimately involves developing self-awareness, setting boundaries, and encouraging mutual respect. When people understand the importance of emotional boundaries, they can navigate relationships with greater honesty, integrity, and compassion. Many people experience coldness in their hearts when love feels unbalanced. Stoic philosophy acts like a lighthouse, gently reminding us of our true worth when relationships lose balance. Seneca once suggested that those who have experienced genuine love will always recognize it. This reminder is not only about love, It is also about balance and reciprocity in relationships. Imagine a situation where you constantly provide emotional support and time to a friend. Yet, when you need support, they are absent. This is not simply a lack of responsiveness. It is a sign that your value within that relationship may not be recognized. Stoicism encourages us to confront such situations by asking ourselves important questions. Does my investment in this relationship reflect my true value? Am I receiving the respect I deserve? To restore balance, we must remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. We are made to work together, like feet, hands, eyelids, and the upper and lower teeth. This metaphor reminds us that cooperation and mutual support are essential to human relationships. When a relationship lacks reciprocity, it diminishes our sense of worth and limits our ability to grow together. What should you do in such situations? Begin by communicating openly and honestly about your feelings. Use Stoic thinking to focus on what you can control. Remember that your self-respect and worth do not depend on how others respond. They come from self-awareness and self-respect. In the journey of Stoic living, recognizing situations where we might be taken advantage of is not only necessary but also a crucial step toward self-improvement and personal growth. Stoic philosophy teaches us not only how to confront life's challenges but also how to examine our relationships more deeply and thoughtfully. Do you recognize yourself in any of the 10 situations discussed in this video? We encourage you not only to reflect on these lessons, but also to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with others who may benefit from these insights. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos exploring wisdom, resilience, and Stoic philosophy.